Good morning, my friends. It's July 15th. We are at the end of week 28. And no, you don't see me back there. I'm behind the camera because I just want to start this off by showing you just a few things that you can add to your soil that will enrich the soil that you're going to throw away. So it's like asking yourself, would I throw money in the trash? Boy, I wouldn't. So instead, I'm going to put it back into my garden and I'm going to grow my soil for free. So just to start you off with just a few little things, I think we all understand the difference that, carbon is our paper goods. And of course, it came from a tree, but so it was living. But at this point, it's carbon. And we're going to use that to help break down all of the nitrogen based or the protein based, all those sorts of things. And you can use shredded cardboard. So many people today are buying technology, and instead of going, you go to the store and you buy it in a box, or it comes, the Amazon angel pulls up to your door and brings you different things. But it's in a lot of this cardboard that is really so much heavier than just, our shredded cardboard. But it's been formed. So if you were to soak this in water, you could soak it in rainwater, would be really beneficial, because then it would have the beneficial microbes and beneficial bacteria already in it. But if you can get that to soak down, it'll all fall apart. You can add that back into your soil. I use my bags that I get from different places. Most of the time I take my reusable bags, but sometimes, when you're going to a pharmacy or something, they don't want to be bothered. So you're going to come home at some time with paper bags. Sometimes I put them through my shredder, that's true. But some of the smaller bags will kind of gum your shredder up, so just be careful with that. And other times I've taken 2 or 3 of these, I've opened up my bag, I've cut it down to where I wanted it, maybe at about 4 inches high, and put a few bags inside each other, and I made them actually like a raised garden. One year I had, for those of you who remember Mel Bartholomew, he's the man who started the Square Foot Garden, I think in the 70s or something. Anyway, I took each one of these. They weren't a perfect square foot, but it made a cute little look, and each one had a different vegetable in it. And it was great because the soil broke down. I mean, the bag broke down over a few months, but until then I had like a raised garden. It was wonderful. It wasn't really touching the soil underneath. I save my toilet paper rolls and my paper towel rolls and anything in that family. For me, I use them in my worm bins, but you can cut them up, or you could, cut it into little slices this way. You can rip them open. You can do so many things with them. And sometimes I fill mine with fruit and put them in my worm bin, and then it's kind of like a little jungle gym for the worms. They love it. My shred, I've started taking, I normally wasn't using paper because the paper was getting very clumpy, but I found that if I put in maybe 75% cardboard and about 25% paper, then it stays fluffy. And if I'm adding it to my compost, you have to flip your compost, and if you put in too much paper, then it gets kind of clumpy, and you're not going to see as many earthworms coming through. So those are just some things to think about. So then, over here, now I'm just showing you the eggs. Obviously, you're not going to throw your eggs away. Well, I wouldn't throw my eggs away. But when I'm done with them, I usually rinse them out. I didn't for years and years, and somebody said, there's a chance of salmonella. Well, okay, all right. So I now rinse them out, and I found that they dry so much faster. Now, if you have white eggs or brown eggs, you can take the shell once it's dried out, and you can just, crumble it in your hand and throw it out in your garden. But it's going to take a long time to break down. It truly is. Uh, so what I do is once it's dried, I actually put it through my bean grinder, my coffee bean grinder, and it makes this really a fine little pulverized, uh, you know, uh, product that I can use then either for my worms. I could add it into my compost. It'll help it break down a lot faster. Another way you could do it would be if you really wanted to use it, Johnny on the spot. Put this. I'm trying to remember the Nigel Palmer is a gentleman who has a lot of. He has a book out, and it tells a lot of tonics. That's the word I want to use. Additives, but tonics you can use in your garden, and one of them is adding vinegar to your eggshells and then letting it kind of percolate for a week or so, and then using the liquid, the vinegar that has, because this will bubble up like mad. It looks like a mad science project or a fifth grader's science project. And you can use that liquid very sparingly in your water to feed your plants or to do a foliar spray. There's just, it's unlimited. I mean, what we could teach ourselves, what we need to learn to be more self-sufficient and to help heal Mother Earth. Onto your fruits and vegetables. Now, I've just pulled these out of the freezer, and you can see that's a banana peel, and it's just starting to thaw out. It was pretty stiff there. And strawberry tops. I want you to see that. This is a piece of aloe that I make a salve out of, kind of a gooey salve, and Rick uses it on his wounds. He's diabetic, and we found that Neosporin, Polysporin, all the different things that he gets from the doctors do not work as well as fresh aloe gel. So I take the aloe leaf, I cut off the spikes, I shave off kind of the top of the skin, and then I take a knife and scrape it. And the goo that comes off is just really medicinally beneficial. So it was just showing you bananas and onions and anything else you have. If you have a lot of it, now you can see I have a lot, and I've already fed my worms. I still have ones to do, so they will get the frozen that's been thawed. But if I have too much, I've learned a new trick from Jane over at Rockin' Worms, very good channel, and she makes, she dehydrates her fruit peels and fruits and vegetable things that she gets from her grocer friend, and then she puts in a desiccant to keep it from molding. And you can just sprinkle that. You could sprinkle it in your soil. Your bacteria can eat it. I give it to my worms if I'm trying to dry out a worm bin. But I've also started adding it along with now this acts as grit for your worms because they don't have a stomach, they have a gizzard. But adding this to it really, it's like they're getting a one-a-day vitamin. They're getting all their extra nutrients right there, all combined. Of course, you can add to your soil coffee grounds, and the coffee filters are wonderful in your plant. If you have clay pots, plastic pots. I like to put a couple of those in the base, and it keeps my soil from running out. And they biodegrade after about 6 months, so you need to do it again. But when you pull it out, the roots have touched the paper and then they kind of grow sideways. So when you pull it out, your plant looks like it has its own network. Tea bags, of course. Check to see whether your tea bag is biodegradable. Some of them are not. If you have rice and you're rinsing your rice, uh, please take that rinsed water. It has NPK in it, and small amounts, but still, it's fertilizer. And how wonderful is that? And also, if you have canned vegetables and you're getting the kind that has no salt added, save those liquids, add it into your rain barrel, add it into your watering can, and water your plants with it. It has a little bit of a sugar base to it, so it's really good for your for any of your plants. I use cornmeal in with my worms, but if I have it and I'm trying to, if it's gotten, how do I want to say it, stale, where you think, oh, this, you open it up and it has, I think our nose, I think God gave us a nose to keep us out of the trouble. If you open your cornmeal and you go, boy, that smells old. Um, throw it away. Don't chance it. Your health is much more important than anything else. If you open your flour and you see any little bugs in it, I'm not sifting it. Sorry, it's gone to the wayside. Any of your cereal boxes can be recycled. If you're throwing out old cereal, don't throw it out. Put it in the compost. Put it in your worm bins. So those are all the little things that I wanted to show you. Of course, I do things like my grass clippings and any of my flowers. If I've been picking up the plumeria that are blooming, and I've brought them in and I've had them out and I've enjoyed the fragrance. Well, the next day I take them and I give them to the worm bin. But I'm weighing everything first because that's what this is all about. This is a 1,000-pound challenge. And if you'll hold on, I'll tell you all about it. Hang on. Hello, my friends. I'm back. I hope you enjoyed that little tour around the table. This is week 28. Can you believe it? We've got 28 weeks in. We've got 24 to go. So, it's no longer halfway. We're starting to slide the other way. And we did really well this week. We had some issues we had to take care of health-wise. Rick had some appointments. And so I really didn't get a chance to trim bushes or pick up my leaves and that sort of thing. Things blew away. So, but we did fine. And our friend Brian, who lives up the street and brings me his grass clippings, he cut his grass. Uh, let's see, it was on a Saturday last week, and then he cut it again, I think on Wednesday. So it was like 4 or 5 days later, and he still had 28 pounds. So that was very nice. And we had about 13 pounds of our own stuff. So we came up with 41 pounds, 10.2 ounces, and we did have 796 pounds. So now our new total, yay, is 838 pounds, 6.5 ounces. So for middle of July, I mean, we're rocking it for wanting to do this 1,000-pound challenge. And I hope you guys will follow along, and I hope you're enjoying it anyway. The funny thing is, if you Google things and you realize there are 4.6 billion acres of farmable land in the world. Not 4.6 million, but 4.6 billion. So, that's 1,000 million is a billion. My property is 1/6 of an acre. Our house is probably over half of that, and sidewalks, driveway, etc. is, I maybe have only 1,000 from. I mean, if you measured every square foot, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,200. And so I really can't do it all. I really can't do much, but I can do my part. And I think that's really what's important to me. So if everybody thought in that sense that if they see something on the ground, it's, that's trash, pick it up. If you see somebody who needs help and you can do it, offer. If you can clean up your own space, don't sit there and grouse about somebody else who isn't, and think that you're better than they are because you're not stealing from anybody or whatever. Get out there and do your own part. And sorry, I just went on the soapbox there, didn't I? But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. I hope you'll try this. I'm kind of the first to admit that I think I would be doing it anyway, but having this little weekly forum gives me just a little bit of just a little nudge, and in the right direction, I would hope. So anyway, that's it. I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and I hope you'll get out and enjoy your part of the world if you're able to, even if it's just sit out and look at one pot growing. Yesterday I made a video on my front yard. I hope if you haven't had a chance, you'll go back and look at the tour, and you'll see that I have 4 oblong planters. They're just small oblong planters, and I took 2 round clay pots, and I got 3 different types of greens growing. And I overseed so that I can take them almost like as microgreens. Instead of thinning them, I take them as microgreens and serve that as a meal or two before then letting the others grow up and do it. So that brings me joy, and I think they are much more nutrient dense than if I went to the grocery store, be it Publix or Giant Eagle or whatever the name of your grocery store is in your part of the world, and it's had to go from this hand to this hand to this hand. I go out, I pick it, I wash it, we eat it. So anyway, I hope I haven't held you too long, and I hope you will watch this and perhaps subscribe. And if not, maybe pass it on to somebody who is interested in recycling and helping Mother Earth, because she sure needs it. Take care, everybody. I hope you have a great day. And remember, garden what you've got. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.